Hey, but this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day, and I thank you for tuning in. And those coming in for the first time, I thank you. Those who've been consistently supporting me, I thank you as well. But on today's episode, Candace Owens. Those who don't know who she is, Candace Owens is she's almost like a support of the Republican Party, but not only that too. She was heavily criticized by the black community for her views, and Candace Owens. To me, when I didn't agree with a lot of things she said when I first known about Candace Owens, I didn't agree how she viewed certain things about certain issues about the black community. No, I didn't. But as time went on, as time went on, Candace Owens evolved. And on this interview that she's gonna have with Nick Cannon on his podcast show, is gonna just show that. How Candace Owens not afraid to stand for Christ, not afraid. She was never afraid to tell the truth. That's the truth. Never afraid to voice her opinion, heavily critiqued, but she was never afraid. Never afraid. She still is not. What I meant to say, she's still not afraid to voice her opinion. So join me as I dive deeply into this interview with her on Candace Owens on Nick Cannon's podcast show called Council Culture. Now, this interview, I tell you, I had to watch it from the top to the bottom, and it's powerful. One of the best interviews I would say it's one of the best interviews I encountered for the year. And I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to give my opinions. Of course, I'm going to share some scriptures, and let's dive in. Now, Candace Owens gained recognition for her conservative activism despite being initially critical of President Donald Trump and the Republican Party. And she's known to be put down the Black Lives Matter. She's known to put down the Black Lives Matter. And Candace Owens became famous because of her conservative activism, but also her views. And I've known her for her views too. Well, on this interview that she's gonna have with Nick Cannon, it's gonna be an interview I believe this interview went viral because I see a few people talking about it, and I checked out the interview myself, and I heard what she said on this interview that made me kind of now I actually kind of support a lot of what she says on this interview, a whole lot what she said on this interview, and you're gonna see the reason why. Now, Nick Cannon, actor, comedian, television host, man, I remember him on Wild 'N Out. Remember him? He had a podcast show before too. But to me, out of all his podcast shows, even his television show, I like this by far. Council Culture. Because he gets to interview people like Dr. Umar Johnson. Now he's interviewing Candace Owens. He interviewed quite a few people that, and they just, this dialogue, I love the dialogue between him and his guests that he interviews. So I'm going to share that. So on this podcast series, I'm gonna share this. This is gonna be part two because I missed part one, but now this is a part two that Nick Cannon is gonna share this interview with um Candace Owens. Now check this out and leave comments. Tell me what you think about the interview. If you didn't see the interview, you can watch it. I'm not gonna share the full interview because it's 45 minutes. I'm gonna share a good portion of the interview, share some of the main points of the interview, and then voice my opinion, and you can leave a comment.
Session 2. Hopefully some healing from the fire that we started in session 1 with Candace Owens. My goal is focus on compassion. Let's lead with love. Let's go. Back again on another edition of Council Culture, a brave space, a safe place to have open dialogue. And, we feel together, we reveal together so we can heal together. That's the whole purpose. And I am joined once again by the fearless and the powerful Candace Owens. Welcome back. Our last session ended where you were speaking your truth and some evident truths that a lot of people don't want to hear or agree with. And I ended with a question which I want to start with is like, one, being so fearless, how do you function through every day? I mean, you're also a mom of 3, and I mean, even I was surprised to even when you showed up. I was like, "It's regular, it's normal," and all that's going on in the world. You know what I mean? I would expect you to be traveling with Secret Service, just because of the type of things you speak on, the people that you speak on, and you do it in such a fearless way. How do you get away with that?
Well, the first thing is I know enough about history to know that if they want to kill you, the Secret Service ain't going to stop them. That's the first part. You know what I
That's
mean?
facts.
If that was a thing, then JFK would be alive, right? If that was a thing, Trump wouldn't have gotten shot. And so it's almost to me, the security part is vanity for other people. It doesn't actually make a difference. But the second thing is I have faith in God. I know God is real.
Amen.
So
Amen.
There is this understanding that I'm always operating with that this is not it. And I feel sad for people that don't know that God is real, because I know that they don't believe God is real because of this intentional training that happened in the public school system. It's why your grandparents were faithful. Going back to Tucker Carlson clip where he's like, don't you think it's weird that since the dawn of humanity, everybody knew that spiritual forces were at play, goodness and evil were at play, every civilization. And then suddenly post-World War II in the West, we were like, no, God's not real. And they started training you to believe in yourself. And that gets into all types of satanic religions that want to drive you towards humanism. They want that to be the ultimate faith, to place your faith in humans, to place your faith in science, and to not believe in God, like literally to not believe in God. And people, it's funny to me because they will be like, I don't believe in God. Like, and they think it's a rational position to have, but these will be the same people that believe so much in government. Like atheists are the most faithful people in the entire world. They will, like what I'm saying, hopping on one foot for COVID, trying to stay alive. They don't ask any questions, roll up their sleeve, get a vaccine. I'm like, bro, you got faith. It's just in humans. Like, in the ultimate form, scientism. And they've realized that, and they know that they can control you. I mean, the stuff that you see people doing, it should make you very aware that they have faith. That there is no such thing as atheism. There's just faith in man.
Yeah, you've definitely spoken out about your, anti-scientism. And scientism being the religion of science. But most people who rely and believe in science look at people who believe in God and spirituality as kooks and also slaves to, you're just going to go with these traditional rituals that have been placed in books and theories that really are based off of allegories. I'd rather go based off of scientific evidence of things that have been proven. Yeah. What do you say to that?
I think that they probably should know that the Enlightenment was not enlightened. It was the darkening of mankind. The Dark Ages were not dark. They were actually an age of tremendous Christian enlightenment, and all of that stuff has been intentionally buried. And they are very much focused, moving the Bible out of the classroom. They used to be taught, and they want you to believe in nothing other than what they tell you. If you think, and I'll just give you just a perfect example. My children are not vaxxed. I am anti-vax, whatever name the science people are coming up with.
Right.
And it's just stunning to me that they were able to convince people that their babies are born wrong. Like as soon as your baby comes out, science can fix it. Like, what do you mean? My baby just came out. You're talking about, well, they instantly need a Hep B vaccine. Wait a second, isn't hepatitis B, again, isn't that an STD? Yes, but they need this because I'm like, this makes zero sense. You're just in the cult of science. It's stupid. The idea that God got it wrong, it's wild. And the funny thing is that the logic that they will apply to themselves for listening to science, they wouldn't even apply it to an animal. Like if they were suddenly like every lion that's born or every lion that's born, we have to intervene and do something. PETA would be outside tomorrow freaking out, like leave them naturally in their. But us, forget it. They legitimately believe that vaccines are keeping their babies alive from the second they come out. That's scientism. That's a cult, right? You are part of a cult and a religion, and you don't understand the science of it at all. If I debate, when I say people call me anti-vaxxer, I invite them on my show. They never come. The doctors, they never come. I'm like, I know how you get paid. I know every child is a check for you if they go through this system and they keep it, and it's all being funded by Big Pharma. And it is my belief that all of these pollutions, again, because I know that the spirit is real, that all of it is to pull you further away from what would actually be a very natural recognition within yourself. Like you would feel that normally, you would feel this spiritual draw, this spiritual incline. They've lied to you. COVID, you should apply that logic and know.
Yes, and Candace Owens is right. People are like sheep. That's why I strongly believe that God said that this is why I strongly believe that God's word, it will come to pass. People will be like the same way how people got the poke, people will be getting the mark of the beast. Yes, I said it. The same way how the people got the poke, the same way how people will be unfair, listening to man and putting their trust in man to get the mark of the beast. And people say they believe God, but they don't believe God. People say that I believe in God, but they don't really believe in God. They believe in the system. They believe in man. They believe in man. So I'm gonna continue with the interview, but this time I'm gonna do it the audio style. Because I don't want to get copywritten marks anyway, but I don't know what the rules are for Nick Cannon's show. So I'm gonna play the rest of the mostly maybe about halfway, well maybe about good 10-15 minutes in the interview with audio style. So check this out.
We even spoke of like psychological terrorism.
It is
that where if they're constantly trying to scare us into control, which I don't disagree on that, but I don't think there's this ultimate puppet master or this group of. I've looked for the group. I want to know who these guys
Nick.
are that are so rich and powerful that they pass it on to their, their offspring and their bloodlines, and they're all keeping the darkness in the world going. I can't find that physical group.
Well, I'm telling you that the CIA is a part of a group and a global conspiracy to enslave mankind.
Yes.
So let's just go small picture here.
Absolutely.
The CIA, definitively.
CIA.
Definitively is a part of the small group of people that are controlling.
So then, and the CIA technically is bipartisan, right?
They're not bipartisan. That's the whole point. That they are not Democrat or Republican. This is like the gang. This is the gang that won. And you know what he said before he got shot in Dallas next to his wife as he was going down the street that day? JFK said he was going to scatter the CIA into a million pieces because it was corrupt. And then unfortunately, he was involved in an accident. And that accident was he was shot. Yes. And the person who shot him said, I didn't shoot him. That was Lee Harvey Oswald. But then before he could testify about what did or not happen, he was killed by a man named Jacob Rubenstein. And that guy, believe it or not, was MK Ultra'd. Before he could stand trial, he was deemed insane because a doctor working for the CIA went in there and gave him a cocktail of medicine to make him crazy. Now, what's funny about this is Kanye told me years ago, because I am not a person, I have to learn things in a book. I need to order the right books. I love to read. But he said something to me, and it sounded wild when he said it to me, that they like made him bipolar. I think he said that. And I don't want to misquote him, but he said something like they made me bipolar, and he was on one of his rants, and it was difficult for me to kind of discern what he meant. And I was there with him when Harley Pashnik was texting him like a totally normal trainer saying, we're going to put you back into a hospital and you'll never see your kids again. Totally normal for your gym trainer to be saying that to you. Totally normal stuff. I think he's an issue. But anyways, he had said that, and that did not make sense to me. I don't want to say it sounded crazy. It just didn't make sense to me. Then I read that book, Chaos. And that guy who got the FOIA requests and declassified the documents and read the conversations between the heads of the CIA and Dr. Sidney Gottlieb. And yeah, they wrote that they could give people schizophrenia, they could give people bipolar disorder via a cocktail of medicine. They can literally induce mental illness via a cocktail of medicine. So this reporter who did this book, by the way, he was like, not at all conspiracy theorist. He was just a writer for Premiere magazine, and his name was Tom O'Neill. He was tasked by his editor to just write a quick 30-year anniversary 30-year anniversary magazine article on the Manson murders. And he was like, oh, it's going to be so boring. I've tapped this 1,000 times. It ended up taking him 22 years.
Wow.
Because he was like, this doesn't make sense. And then the FOIA request, he ended up getting fired from there. Book deal fell through. He dedicated 22 years of his life to investigating what the hell happened on that night that Americans were told there were these heinous murders that happened. And everything he learned was that there were operatives there that night. The judges were on the payroll, police officers, all, by the way, very much the same. And we don't need to get into this right now, but in what's been put out in that Diddy lawsuit.
Now, Candace Owens is talking about, man, it's like, there's a lot of hidden things that we don't know. A lot of little things that have been revealed that you just don't know about. Like the poke, getting, in other words, getting all these medications that's there to help you out, and a lot of hidden things, not even just with the medical issues, but also things that the media portrayed out is not even real. It's a smoke screen from the truth. A smoke screen from the truth. Let's continue with the interview. You mean to get rid of that ad?
That's happening. Like LA's got a lot of shady stuff happening here, a lot of evil stuff
LA
happening
got
here,
a lot of shady stuff happening.
I wouldn't want to be an enemy of the CIA and live in LA. I'll say that for free. Like I wouldn't want to live here because I believe that they obviously do have LAPD police officers that are working for them. And a lot of the stuff that Kanye was saying that didn't make sense now makes perfect sense to me. But now I have I read this book and I've seen the files, and thankfully this journalist dedicated 22 years of his life to present to the public. You have to learn it. It's scary, but you have to confront it. But don't be scared also, because in the end, goodness does win. And that's where just the spirit of Christ comes in. Like,
Amen.
I know how this story ends. These people are evil.
Yes.
These people are demonic. These people are poisoning you. They are poisoning your children. They are poisoning your psychology every day. They have poisoned Black music. That's also what I want to say. This is that was my instinct. I was like, this is not Black music. Why am I hearing what sounds demonic coming out of people's mouths and what they're speaking about? And some artists have spoken out about the fact that they're being told to produce demonic music.
See, that's and again, I'm glad you brought that up. And the overarching, I believe either you said something like this in the past, but I know I'm paraphrasing here, that we probably believe the same thing, that ignorance, fear, and confusion is the devil's dominion in that sense. So that's where we're easily controlled, when we don't know, when we're scared, or when we're confused. And a lot of what I hear you saying is that it's not rooted in what we would deem as factual, like you're an avid reader like me. Like I'll read anything and try to understand it, but it's also like, all right, well, show me the evidence, which normally is like science, of that there are people controlling us through our music. Now, as a faith, based individual and someone I truly believe in spiritual warfare.
It is a spiritual warfare, Nick.
At least for my own psyche, I can say okay, I see what's happening in Black music and in hip hop. I don't think
Yes.
there's a secret meeting going on that, and I've even heard about the secret meeting. I'm like, why? I want to know who was in those meetings that they were saying, I need you to say all of the horrible things about Black men and Black women. I need you to put satanic influences into songs and signs and symbolism. Like, to me, that is an energy that, or a spirit that can come upon people to make you want to do that, especially based off of their circumstances. If all I know is pain, strife, anger, hate, I'm going to now, put that back out or regurgitate that to my own community. And that in itself is a cycle.
Now, and I always said that too. The devil is in once we sold hip hop, once we sold the music, the devil got his hand in hip hop. And I always said that. Not only with the prison, but also the devil had his hand in the hip hop music. Always said that. And now she just revealed it. Candace Owens just revealed it with the music. And you hear the demonic lyrics in the music. I remember I shared a few videos back with Doja Cat and Sam Smith with the ritual, the demonic performance ritual on the Grammy Award back in 2023, and Lil Nas X with the demonic satanic video where Satan he's giving Satan a lap dance. All these things is to promote Satan. All these things is to promote and push the devil into our children and promote satanic rituals. And they're pushing it through the artists. The artists, and Candace Owens is right. The artist is even saying it. The artist is admitting that. The artist is saying, listen, if I don't do these rituals, I won't get on top. Remember the three doors I shared, and and Nori from the Drink Champs said it best. He said I had to choose these, and he experienced that. We had to choose the door. Which door would I choose? And if I choose the unpopular door, that's my music won't. I won't be less popular. I won't get enough play. But if I choose a popular door, which is the homosexual rituals, and the other door, which is the drugs and the Hollywood drugs and so on, then I'll be on top. But if I don't, but if I choose the unpopular door, which is a straight and narrow, and Kanye said it best on the song, Jesus Walk, because I praise God, my music won't get played. And there's a fact. This is what, and Jesus is coming back. This is what is being promoted.
Darkness and low frequency that we can be removed from. But to say that there's like these secret people coming in and telling us,
I don't think they're secret. I don't think they're secret at all. And there have been multiple artists that have spoken out and said that producers have encouraged them to.
But yeah, that's
an
individual.
But is that not to
that's
believe
not
them?
That's an individual. So
No.
Because like I said, I can find the devil, and I can find the devil in gospel music if I wanted.
Here we go.
But I can also say, I can find the God, I can find the good in every aspect, whether it's Hollywood or not. Like, there's multiple things where if we even understand what entertainment was designed for, it ultimately is to relieve us of the stresses that everyday life brings upon us.
Right.
So again, you operate each and every day in a space of like, look, I'm on the front lines and I'm literally trying to help people understand and get clarity and hear the truth. But when that becomes confusing or it becomes rhetoric, and now I just see people of great brilliance just arguing back and forth about things that ultimately are not creating any gain for either one of the individuals, except for maybe ego to say, oh, I was right, or oh, I read this. Like, knowing your position and knowing what you can offer to the world, how do you differentiate between like, all right, I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna do nothing but speak, against, the trans community, or I'm going to speak against Black Lives Matter, or whatever that at the moment where you can say, clearly you're brilliant enough to be like, I don't have to go out there with my sword swinging. I can take a softer approach. I can accept, I can love everyone, give everyone an opportunity, and still get the same message across, because like you just said, goodness is ultimately going to be the one to prevail, if you truly believe that.
Yeah, well, goodness prevails when good speaks out. We can't just sit back and do nothing when we see it. And we have to call it like we see it.
We're gonna be like Peter and just go cut everybody's ear off.
Yeah, I'm not even.
But Jesus was like, Peter, fall back. Give my man his ear, because he needs to hear this process.
I think
marketers think they can do it all. And
these ads, yeah. So, and that's what it is. If you are a person that don't want to hear the truth, and people do not like to hear the truth. People do not like to hear the truth, and that's a fact. People want to be sugar-coated. People want to be they don't like to hear the truth, and that's a fact. That's a fact. And they don't want to hear the truth. And the truth of the matter is, like what Nick Cannon said, why can't you just compromise a little bit? Like he mentioned Peter in the Bible, that Peter swung his sword and cut the man's ear off when Jesus was about to get arrested by the Pharisee soldiers. And then Jesus told him that you live by the sword, you die by the sword. But the truth got to get revealed. The truth must come out, and the truth must be revealed. It must be revealed. Now, Nick Cannon is saying in a soft manner, accept everybody, just embrace everybody, but do it in a loving way. But sometimes you gotta go and speak the truth. And some people don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth, and that's a fact. They don't want to hear the truth. People want to be lied to, and that's the truth, and that's a fact. So I'm gonna share the rest of this video. I'm gonna share maybe a good portion of it. I don't know about sharing everything, but I'm gonna share a good portion of the video. I'm trying to try to get over the ads.
It's interesting because I don't find myself to be offensive. I just think
everybody else does.
I know. That is correct. And I think the reason for that is because people don't like hearing the truth. And I think it's because they know it's the truth deep down, and they have like a visceral response.
And I would agree with you. I would definitely agree with you until we start jumping into these spaces that sound very conspiracy theory. I used to be that guy. I was that guy that was like, they're trying to tear us down. And then to your point, which you often speak of, that becomes a victim-like mentality. So my message started to often being like, yes, the world's fucked up. Yes, there's so many there's more enemies than we know. But I know the God within me and the God that I serve is gonna have them all fall to my feet when I walk into the room, because I know the energy that I possess.
Yeah.
So therefore, I don't have to come in guns blazing, because if we know the truth and we know ultimately that goodness will prevail, then why can't I lead with love and cut them off with compassion?
Well, I just don't think it's guns a-blazing to say, only women can give birth. And that's what I'll say, and people will lose their minds. Like that, I will be like,
say that in a setting of people who can't give birth.
But my point is just that it's just the truth. I'm not even here I'm not showing up where people are at and in their faces. They just don't know how to accept my audacity to just keep saying the truth. That is what, because I've thought about this. What is it about me that people are so triggered by? And it's my audacity. Right. Because we live in a world where people will bend to the spirit of evil. They will bend to the spirit of nonsense. They will allow every part of their reason to be stripped away so that they can fit in. And again, this gets into, and this is not conspiracy. In fact, we should stop using the word conspiracy theorist because we know that was a CIA term that they entered into the lexicon following the shooting of JFK. So they say the word conspiracy theory. That's
the
all
theory
made up.
is the only thing that's the problem. The conspiracy to conspire is not an issue.
Yeah, but that is the truth. And that is why we should just call it out when we see it. This is what's happening. These people are conspiring. Like, that's what I do. And here's a document you can look at to see when they've done it in the past, and this is what's happening now. And I also listen to people. I don't gaslight people. So if an artist comes to me and says, I've been told to record something demonic, or I had a conversation with Amber Rose, and she a couple of weeks ago, and it was a lot of her telling me that she was basically just being pushed by people that you need to be more sexual and to be more sexual. I accept that obviously at a certain point, and this gets into why you were saying why I won't bend for money. I wouldn't do it. I'm built different, you know? But I also acknowledge that these people are being pushed in a certain direction.
Yes,
you're being
absolutely.
Told, can you make it sexier? I will not accept. The conspiracy to me is to try to convince me that the times have changed, and we went from, in the Black community, producing Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston to what really Black people really want to hear right now is Sexy Red.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why these record labels are going to Sexy Red and offering her a deal. I refuse to believe that.
Facts.
Okay? So yes, power is held by these labels when they go out, and I don't mean that as any disrespect to her. What I am saying is that frequencies are real. Okay,
exactly.
Frequencies impact your spirit.
Frequencies are real and impact your spirits.
There's been brothels and strip clubs and stuff since the oldest profession.
I'm talking about music,
so,
right?
Okay, and like you said,
and I'm talking, yes, and you are correct. But Confucius said, "Listen to the music,
and you'll be able to know the
and there's a reason for that.
Society.
He knew this.
So yes, sexy. Yeah, this is what they want. This is the world that we're living in right now. I mean, they rather Sexy Red shakes her, bounce up and down her cheeks, twerk, and talk a whole. You think Sexy Red can rap? Like, can really rap? No, she's a gimmick, and she's an image that the industry is pushing because more sex is being pushed on the young people. And that's the frequencies. And like, remember, I spoke about that in the video one time about the frequencies that you listen to, the music that you listen to, the impact your spirit, man. Like, it's not uplifting. You want to listen to music that's uplifting. I mentioned some reggae artists. I mentioned some gospel, a lot of gospel music. You want to listen to something that's uplifting, not something that can tamper your mind, contaminate your mind. And you listen to these songs, and what are they talking about? Especially if they're not talking about the devil, they're talking about sex.
Chinese philosopher knew this back when, and there's people who, in my viewpoint, have a lot of power in the music industry also understand that. There is no reason to fight to put filth on the airways and then try to convince people that it's free speech.
Because it's
in fact, I will tell you a non-conspiracy that you can look up right now, and I'm going to blank on his name, but there is a guy, and if I grab my phone, I'll be able to look it up for you. Literally on his Wikipedia page, it literally says, "We created pornography," because I believe the eyes and the ears are the window to the soul, to crush Christianity.
Woo!
Are you ready to see Brandon?
Yeah, excuse the ad, but yeah, I like what she said there. Woo! Woo! Oh man, pornography is used to crush Christianity. Pornography is used as a tool. And listen, let's face facts here. Sex sells. Sex sells. And porn is a spirit. I don't care what nobody say. Oh, they take it, they get people. I listen, hear people when they say that they watch pornography, they watch porn. But it's also a spirit. It's also a demonic spirit. Just like how other things are a demonic spirit that has a stronghold on people and is a addiction. Pornography is also an addiction. That is a frequency that can get it, just like music. The frequency, that just like the trash music. They talk about sex and drugs and all these things, and killing, murder. Same thing. Pornography is an addiction that can play with your psyche. And if you're not careful, it can really this is why you have so much people that all they want to do is, and they're just perverted. Their mind is perverted. They go online, they look at scantily clad women, they look at men looking at, it's just vice versa, or they just into the lifestyle, the rainbow family. So I'm gonna share the rest of this. I'm gonna try to share the rest of this video, give my opinions off and on. Let me get just through this ad right now.
He said in an open statement, this is why we created pornography. This is why we and this was back in the 70s. He was the person that brought hardcore porn to the scene. He was like, this is the reason why, to crush Christianity. He said this openly. So it's not a conspiracy when a person is telling you why they control the pornography industry and what they're trying to do. And pornography impacts spirit. Okay?
Pornography
it is making people want more demented and more deranged. They don't even know what healthy sex is. All of this is not by accident. So when they outwardly tell you what they're doing, and I'm going to get his name for you because I want to make sure that people can look this up.
It'll be in the comments.
On his Wikipedia, where he literally said that. This is why we control the pornography industry, to crush Christ. We hate Catholics and we hate Christianity. Now you say today, is that a conspiracy? If I quote him, and I'm gonna have to get his name because otherwise people are gonna be like, what is his name? What's his name? And I'll pin it whenever you put this episode out. Yeah. But I thought there's no way this person. Sure enough, he said it. I'll tell you who he is. He was the founder of Screw Magazine.
Right. I mean, and that sounds logical. Like, to me, that's not as far-fetched as there's the
conspiracy is against Christ. That's my belief. I believe, and that's why I say you have to start with understanding that there is a conspiracy. Okay. But it's not a conspiracy theory. There is a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy.
And it is a conspiracy against Christ. Okay. Which is why I say, how is Hollywood? How is it plausible that it is a literal inversion of the Bible? They don't agree with one point. Not even one point of the Bible. We can't even say women and men are different anymore. Like, can we agree on one point? They're like, no, we have to take the Bible and say everything about it is wrong.
But can we zoom out just a little bit? And just even to your point, if there's a conspiracy against Christ, which is your spiritual beliefs of like, this is the right way to live your life, the good way.
The way, the truth, and the life.
The truth and the life. Mm-hmm. There's a balance in that sense of like, there's good and evil. Mm-hmm. So in that, why can't we just say, because you're talking spirituality, you're not talking individualism. You're not saying that this individual is looking to, or even like the man that you just described, he was saying he had such a vitriol response to organized religion or whatever, Catholicism, that he was saying, I'm going to do something in this space to therefore try to tear that down, which we know he can't tear it down because it's the ultimate power. It's the truth, the way, and the light. So we can point fingers at that individual, but you can't say that he's the one ultimately controlling all things evil just because he's the one that spoke out against
No, but I was
porn.
just saying that if I had not produced, this is one of the founders of pornography in America. So, how do we get to this? How do we start from everyone's going to church, families are together, to now OnlyFans, right? Pornography was introduced into the American psyche for a reason, and it is in a war against your spirit. It is meant to disrupt your relationships. It's meant to pollute the idea of monogamy. It is a weapon. I want to be very clear. Pornography is a weapon. Okay? I'm going to have you look up Sav, founder of Screw Magazine. Al Goldstein.
Al Goldstein, look him up.
Find a direct quote
when you get a chance,
of what Al Goldstein said.
Look him up, Al Goldstein.
I actually want you to find the direct quote of what Al Goldstein said about Christianity. Now, if I had said it and wasn't Al Goldstein, I'd be called a conspiracy theorist. right? This is one of the weapons. Pornography is one of the weapons that is being used against Christ. And people today, you have to go all the way back and you go, now people go, oh, it's about First Amendment. This is not about the First Amendment, okay? Watching people essentially, what I would say is act out a demonic fetish is not, okay, they understand that it's real, but they're going to tell you that this is just free speech. No, you are watching liberation. This is not liberation. This is enslavement. You are watching rituals. Demons are jumping inside of you when you watch this stuff. Now, I wouldn't have said this when I was in high school, because I learned in high school in health class.
Remember, I said that like it's not just watching the pornography. This is a demon. It's frequencies that jump inside of you. You open it's portals when you watch porn. That's why it's an addiction, because it can grab you. When it grabs you, it hooks you. So the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, by evil spirits and principalities. So pornography, it grips you and it holds you. This is why it's like pornography is like it is a weapon. It is a weapon. It go against your spirit. It is a weapon that goes against your spirit to separate you from God. Is to please the flesh. It's not only just pleases the flesh. It pleases the flesh, but it also contaminates your spirit and separates you from God. Now, porn is used, and I like it how she put it. It's weaponized against whatever. If you're close to God, or if you're trying to get closer to the Lord and you're trying to know God, pornography, just like drugs, it separates you. It's an addiction. What addictions do? Addictions get you hooked. It gets you hooked, and it separates you from God, from God's peace, from true love. It separates you.
Said that it's healthy to watch a little bit of porn. Do you not see a conspiracy in that?
It's a little healthy to know what's going on.
No, it's not, because that's not what's going on. They're setting your tastes. Right. That's what I'm saying. These are the taste makers. They are setting your tastes. This is not normal, and it's getting more and more deranged. So when you see this explosion of men that are homosexual, my husband has a theory that all pornography is homosexual porn, because men are watching other men have sex with other women. But anyways, the point is that it's inspiring people to want more and more deranged, demented things. They pursue that. It is a demon that possesses you. And what they do is they very slowly introduce more demonic things. So it used to be, it's just pornography, a woman and a man having sex. At least it's a woman and a man having sex. Then it became like, it's going to be gay. Then it became, now it's going to be trans. Then it came, oh, she's going to dress up like she's 14 years old. That is introducing to the palate pedophilia. Okay?
For anyone struggling with ear ringing.
Excuse me about the ads. Excuse me about the ads.
The quotation?
Is it the one that says the only reason that Jews are in pornography is that we think that Christ sucks?
I'm going to end it right here. Satan's goal is to block Christ out. And I believe that the Satan always had his hand in Hollywood, for the most part. And when they have those lodges and they have certain rituals that go on, sex is a part of it. The ritual sex is a part of it. The homosexual rituals is a part of it. Engulfing yourself in pornography is a part of it. Now, if you want to check out the whole entire interview, all you got to do is look for Nick Cannon, Council Culture. Nick Cannon Culture is a very, very, this was my favorite interview out of all the interviews that he done, because I've never seen, now Candace Owens not known to talk about Christ. She's not known to talk about God, but in this video, it's like I I look at her differently now. I look at her differently and I embrace what she said on this particular video. Let's turn to a scripture. 1 John 2 verses 5. Do not love the world or the things of the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. That's right. If you embrace the world and you're comfortable, listen to what society tells you, you're comfortable taking the poke, you're comfortable taking the mark of the beast, you'll be comfortable, and you're comfortable to whatever they tell you, and you instead of putting your trust in God, you put your trust in man. You cannot love God if you love the world. Every artist, most actors is given a choice. If they want to go through the rituals, sell their soul for the devil, or decline, maybe take some pay cuts, decline. There was an actor named I think it's Seaver, acting in a sitcom called Growing Pains. White guy, forgot his name, but he decided to give us. Matter of fact, the show is called, I think it's called Silver Spoons or Growing Pains. Growing Pains, that's right. That's the name of the sitcom. And the name is Cameron. I believe his last name is Cameron. And he decided, you see what Hollywood was about? He been through the doors of Hollywood. He was an actor. And he decided to give his life to Christ. Decided, I'm not going to fall into the devil's trap. I'm not going to go through all these rituals just to be on top, just to be famous. I'm not going to sell my soul just for money and just to be famous. I'm going to give my soul to Christ. Because the thing is that Jesus is coming back. And the thing is when judgment comes, or when your time to go home, meaning to die, God, you're going to be held accountable for all you've done and the decisions that you make. Because most of us heard the gospel. Most of us heard the gospel of Jesus Christ. The message of hope to deliver you from the bondage of sin, to deliver you from addictions, to deliver you from strongholds that leads to self-destruction, leads to death and self-destruction. Strongholds, whether it's drugs or engulfing yourself in porn, which leads to addictions, and it's satanic. Let's turn to a scripture. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 14. The natural person does not accept the things of the spirit. So when Nick Cannon was interviewing Candace Owens, he said that he doesn't know where do you find these people these gatekeepers, these people that are CIAs, and these people that have secret societies that control these artists, that control the actors, artists, and some athletes or athletes. Where do you see these people? And Candace Owens was saying that they're there. They're right in front of you. They're there. Because Nick Cannon's been in part of the entertainment business for years. He knows it. He's been in the industry. He sees what goes on. He sees that the amount of trouble when you go against the powers that be, the kind of trouble you get into, or when you go against the gatekeepers. You know the troubles that you face because you speak out and you tell truth, or you don't go, or you go against your master, which is the devil, or you go against the powers that be that control the industry. And I never forget what DMX said in a Def Poetry. Many artists are trying to get in the industry and realize that they can't fit in. Can't fit in. Are you willing to sell your soul? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you willing to sell your soul to the devil just for fame and for money? That's a question you have to ask yourself if you're trying to be an inspiring artist. Well, the live word today is coming out of 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 to 5. Yes, but to understand this, that in the last days, there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, which is happening right now, proud of arrogant, abuse, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, yes, right now, heartless, happening right now, undespisable, happening right now, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasures rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness, but denying the power. Denying the power. Avoid, the Bible says, avoid such people. Now, if you're listening to this video, you heard what Candace Owens said, and you don't know the Lord tonight. You don't know Jesus, who Jesus is, and you want to know who Jesus is. You want to know who Jesus is. In the book of Romans 10:9, if you could believe in your heart, if you believe in your heart and confess with your mouth, thou shalt be saved. So pray this prayer with me. Lord, I ask you, Lord, to come into my life, to take control of my life. Lord, and I ask you, Lord, to just keep your hands upon me, Lord. And I accept you into my life, Lord. Forgive me my sins and where I fall short. I need you, Lord. I need you now, Lord. I don't know what tomorrow may bring, but Lord, I ask you, Lord, to come into my life today. Come into my life, Lord, and change me. Change me. I know you love me, Lord. I know that you died for me. And I know you've been risen from the dead. And I know that, and I believe with my heart, and I confess that you are Lord and Savior over my life. If you believe that prayer, today you are saved. Tonight or today, wherever you are in the world, if you believe, if you just pray with me and you believe that prayer today, you are saved. But this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. God bless and be safe out there. And if you like what I shared, smash the like button. And if you want to see the rest of Candace Owens video, Candace Owens interview with Nick Cannon on the council culture, you can check out that interview. Just go on Nick Cannon, check out Nick Cannon, type in Nick Cannon, or when you go to YouTube, check out type in Nick Cannon, type in Candace Owens, and it will pop right up. And it says Council Culture. That's the name of his podcast show. Check out the rest of the interview. Great interview. Great interview. Had a good time reviewing it with you. So, well, this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. Until next time, be safe out there. Peace and blessings. I got more coming for you.